beans have a reputation problem. Most people know they are nutritious, affordable, and rich in fiber. But the moment beans are mentioned, many people think about gas, bloating, or an uncomfortable stomach. That raises an important question. What actually happens inside your gut if you eat beans consistently for 14 days? The honest answer is not a miracle transformation. 14 days will not rebuild your entire digestive system, cure constipation, or guarantee a perfect microbiome. But it can be long enough for you to notice how your body responds to a meaningful increase in fiber and fermentable carbohydrates. During the first few days, your gut bacteria may suddenly receive more food than they are used to. That can increase gas. Later, bowel movements may become easier or more regular, especially if your previous diet was low in fiber. By the second week, your gut microbes may be adapting to the new supply of resistant starch and other carbohydrates that reach the colon. But there is a catch. The result depends heavily on how much you eat, how quickly you increase the portion, how the beans are prepared, how much fluid you drink, and whether you have a digestive condition such as irritable bowel syndrome. In this video, we will walk through the 14 days step by step. You will learn what changes are normal, which symptoms mean you should slow down, how beans feed the bacteria in your colon, and how to complete a simple 14-day bean plan without turning every meal into a digestive experiment. Most importantly, stay until the action plan near the end, because the biggest mistake is not choosing the wrong bean. It is starting with the wrong amount. Before day 1, why beans affect the gut? To understand what may happen over 14 days, we first need to understand what makes beans different from many other foods. Beans contain a combination of dietary fiber, resistant starch, plant protein, and naturally occurring carbohydrates that are not completely digested in the small intestine. Some of these carbohydrates continue into the large intestine, where trillions of microorganisms live. These microbes use parts of the beans as fuel. During fermentation, they produce gases and a range of metabolites, including short-chain fatty acids. Some short-chain fatty acids help support the cells lining the colon and influence the environment inside the gut. This is why beans are often described as a prebiotic food. They do not simply add bacteria to your digestive system. Instead, they provide food that certain existing microbes can use. But fermentation has two sides. It can support helpful microbial activity, and it can also produce more gas. That gas is not automatically a sign that beans are damaging your gut. It often means that bacteria are breaking down carbohydrates your body did not absorb earlier. The problem comes when the increase is too fast. Imagine someone who normally eats very little fiber suddenly consuming a large bowl of beans at dinner. The digestive system has not been given time to adjust. More material reaches the colon. Fermentation increases quickly, and the person may feel pressure, fullness, or cramping. That is why the 14-day experiment should not begin with a full bowl. Your digestive system usually responds better to a gradual increase. Days 1 to 3, more fermentation, more awareness. On the first day, you may notice nothing at all. Many people tolerate a small portion of beans without a problem. However, if your usual diet contains little fiber, you may notice more gas within several hours. Some people also experience mild bloating or a feeling of fullness. Beans contain fermentable carbohydrates, and the bacteria in your colon can produce hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and other gases while processing them. This reaction varies enormously from one person to another. Your baseline diet matters. The type of bean matters. The portion matters. Even the foods you eat with the beans can change how the meal feels. For example, half a cup of beans added to a very large, high-fat meal may feel heavier than the same beans added to a light vegetable soup. Eating quickly can also increase swallowed air and make gas symptoms feel worse. During days 1 through 3, the goal is observation, not endurance. Mild extra gas may be expected. Severe abdominal pain, repeated vomiting, persistent diarrhea, or marked swelling is not something you should simply push through. A useful starting portion is 2 to 4 tablespoons of cooked beans once a day. That may sound small, but it gives your digestive system a manageable introduction. Eat slowly. Chew well. Notice how you feel over the next several hours. Record your portion and symptoms in a simple notebook. Use a 0 to 10 scale for gas, bloating, pain, and bowel comfort. There is another practical point. Do not judge beans based on one uncomfortable evening. Research on bean consumption suggests that increased flatulence is not experienced by everyone, and among people who do notice it, the perception may decrease with continued intake. This does not mean everyone will adapt perfectly. It means the first reaction is not always the final reaction. If symptoms are mild, keep the portion steady for the first 3 days. Do not increase it simply because you want faster results. Your gut is not a machine that improves more quickly when overloaded. Days 4 to 7. Stool bulk, water, and regularity. By days 4 through 7, the fiber in beans may begin to affect your bowel habits more noticeably. Fiber can increase the bulk of stool. Certain types of fiber also hold water, which may help make stool softer and easier to pass. For someone whose diet was previously low in fiber, this may mean a more comfortable or more predictable bowel movement. But fiber and fluid work together. Increasing fiber without enough fluid may leave some people feeling more constipated, especially if they are older, less active, taking certain medications, or already prone to slow bowel movements. This does not mean everyone needs to force down an extreme amount of water. Fluid needs vary with body size, activity, climate, heart health, and kidney function. The practical goal is to drink regularly and avoid becoming dehydrated. If a health professional has told you to restrict fluids, follow that advice rather than a general rule from a video. During this stage, you may also notice greater fullness after meals. Beans combine fiber, carbohydrate, and plant protein. They usually take longer to eat than many refined snack foods, and they can make a meal more satisfying. That can indirectly help the gut because it may replace foods that provide little fiber. A lunch of beans, vegetables, and a whole grain is very different from a lunch built around refined crackers, processed meat, and a sugary drink. However, this is where another mistake appears. Some people add beans to their current meal without replacing anything. The result is simply a much larger meal. Then they blame the beans for discomfort that may partly come from excessive volume. Use beans as a replacement, not only an addition. Replace part of the meat, cheese, or refined starch with beans. Keep the total meal comfortable. If your symptoms have remained mild, increase the daily portion to about 1/3 of a cup during days 4 through 7. If you are still experiencing uncomfortable bloating, remain at the smaller portion or take a day off. Progress is not measured by how much discomfort you can tolerate. Days 8 to 10, your microbes respond to a new food supply. By the second week, something more interesting may be happening inside the colon, even if you cannot feel it directly. Diet is one of the factors that influences the gut microbiome. When you repeatedly supply beans, you repeatedly supply fiber, resistant starch, and other compounds that certain microbes can use. Human studies have found that bean or legume-rich diets can change microbial composition and microbial metabolites. In one controlled bean intervention, adding navy beans to the diet over several weeks increased measures of microbial diversity and shifted several bacterial groups. A more recent randomized trial in older adults with prediabetes found that a legume-enriched dietary pattern improved several metabolic markers and was associated with changes in fiber-degrading gut microbes. These studies do not prove that every person will develop the same microbiome after 14 days. They also used longer interventions and specific populations. That distinction matters. What we can reasonably say is that the microbiome can respond to a repeated dietary change, and the second week is not too early for that response to begin. In research settings, stool samples are often collected within the first few weeks because microbial changes can start before a person notices a dramatic outward difference. You may never feel your microbiome becoming more diverse. There is no special sensation that proves beneficial bacteria are increasing. The changes you can observe are more practical: bowel regularity, stool consistency, gas, bloating, appetite, and how comfortable you feel after meals. This is why you should be skeptical of anyone who promises that 14 days of beans will completely reset your gut. The microbiome is influenced by your overall diet, medications, sleep, stress, physical activity, health conditions, and long-term habits. Beans can be one helpful input. They are not the entire system. Days 11 to 14, adaptation or a signal to adjust. By days 11 through 14, one of three patterns often becomes clear. The first pattern is good tolerance. Gas may be mild, bowel movements may feel easier, and the person is comfortable eating a moderate portion of beans most days. The second pattern is partial adaptation. There may still be extra gas, but it is less disruptive than it was during the first few days. The person may do well with smaller portions, certain bean varieties, or beans prepared in a particular way. The third pattern is persistent intolerance. Bloating, pain, diarrhea, or constipation remains significant. In that case, the answer is not to force a larger portion. It is to reduce the amount and investigate why symptoms continue. People with irritable bowel syndrome may react to fermentable carbohydrates in beans. The amount that triggers symptoms can be very individual. Some people tolerate canned and thoroughly rinsed beans better because part of the fermentable carbohydrate content moves into the liquid and is discarded. Others do better with lentils or smaller portions. A registered dietitian can help someone with IBS find a level that supports nutrition without causing unnecessary symptoms. Strictly avoiding every fermentable food without guidance can make the diet more limited than it needs to be. At the end of 14 days, ask 4 questions. Are my bowel movements more comfortable, less comfortable, or unchanged? Has gas become more manageable, or is it still interfering with daily life? Can I eat a moderate portion without pain? Did beans replace a less nutritious food, or did I simply add more calories to my day? Your answers are more useful than a dramatic promise on the internet. The goal is not to prove that beans are perfect. The goal is to discover whether they can become a comfortable, sustainable part of your eating pattern. 5 mistakes that can ruin the experiment. The first mistake is starting with too much. A full cup may be appropriate in some studies, but participants are often monitored, and some interventions use a gradual ramp-up period. At home, begin with a few tablespoons. Increase only when the current portion feels comfortable. The second mistake is ignoring preparation. Canned beans are already cooked. Choose lower sodium options when available, drain them, and rinse them under running water. For dried beans, follow safe preparation instructions and cook them thoroughly. Raw or undercooked kidney beans can contain high levels of a lectin called phytohemagglutinin. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration warns that improperly cooked beans can cause severe nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Proper soaking and vigorous boiling are important. Do not assume a low-temperature slow cooker will safely cook dried kidney beans from raw. The third mistake is eating beans only in heavy meals. Beans in a creamy, greasy, oversized dish may feel very different from beans in soup, salad, or a balanced grain bowl. High-fat meals can contribute to bloating in some people and make it difficult to know which part of the meal caused the discomfort. The fourth mistake is changing several things at once. If you begin probiotics, a fiber supplement, a new exercise program, and a daily bowl of beans on the same day, you will not know what caused the change. Keep the experiment simple. The fifth mistake is treating symptoms as a test of willpower. Digestive pain is not a badge of health. If symptoms are severe, worsening, or associated with blood in the stool, fever, repeated vomiting, unexplained weight loss, or persistent changes in bowel habits, speak with a healthcare professional. At-home action plan: the 14-day bean challenge. Here is a practical plan designed for beginners. Before you begin, choose one familiar bean. Black beans, pinto beans, chickpeas, navy beans, or lentils can all work. Using one type at first makes it easier to identify your tolerance. Prepare canned beans by draining and rinsing them. If you use dried beans, soak and cook them according to food safety instructions. Never eat kidney beans raw or undercooked. For days 1 through 3, eat 2 tablespoons of cooked beans once a day. Add them to soup, eggs, vegetables, or a small grain bowl. Keep the rest of the meal normal and moderate in size. For days 4 through 7, increase to 1/4 or 1/3 of a cup per day if symptoms remain mild. If gas or bloating is uncomfortable, stay at 2 tablespoons. For days 8 through 10, aim for 1/3 to 1/2 cup per day. You can divide the portion between lunch and dinner if that feels easier. For days 11 through 14, continue at the portion you tolerate best. There is no prize for reaching a full cup. A smaller amount eaten consistently is more useful than a large amount you cannot maintain. Throughout the 14 days, keep a simple log with 5 items: the type of bean, the portion, gas, bloating or pain, and bowel movement comfort. Eat slowly and chew thoroughly. Drink fluids regularly unless your medical team has instructed you to limit them. Include gentle movement, such as a short walk after a meal, if that is safe for you. Do not increase the portion on a day when your stomach is already upset. Do not use the challenge during an active digestive flare without medical guidance. You are doing it correctly when symptoms are absent or mild. Your meal feels satisfying rather than painfully heavy, and your bowel habits are stable or improving. Stop the challenge and seek medical advice if you develop severe abdominal pain, repeated vomiting, significant diarrhea, blood in the stool, fever, or symptoms that do not improve after reducing the portion. People with chronic kidney disease, a prescribed potassium or phosphorus restriction, a history of certain kidney stones, severe IBS, inflammatory bowel disease, recent gastrointestinal surgery, or complex medication needs should discuss major dietary changes with an appropriate healthcare professional. So, what may happen to your gut when you eat beans for 14 days? During the first few days, bacterial fermentation may increase, and you may notice more gas or fullness. Between days 4 and 7, the additional fiber may begin to affect stool bulk and bowel regularity, especially when fluid intake is adequate. During the second week, your gut microbes are receiving a repeated supply of formidable fiber and resistant starch, creating the conditions for microbial adaptation. But the most important result is not a laboratory number. It is whether beans become comfortable and sustainable for you. A healthy gut is not built by forcing one superfood into every meal. It is supported by a varied dietary pattern that includes fiber-rich plants, adequate fluids, regular movement, sufficient sleep, and medical care when symptoms require it. Start small. Increase slowly. Prepare beans safely. Let your symptoms guide the portion. For the next 14 days, try the amount that feels manageable, not the amount that sounds impressive. Consistency matters more than perfection. Have you avoided beans because of gas? Or do you already eat them regularly? Share your experience in the comments. And if you want practical, science-based guidance for staying strong, active, and healthy after 50, subscribe to the channel. Take good care of your body, stay curious about your health, and I will see you in the next video.